happened to me on a dark night in 1976. It was December 19th, a day that would change my life forever. It was the day I died. We were dead for 19 minutes. When I came back, I did not come back the same. How do you feel? I did not come back alone. What seemed like days passed in 19 minutes. And over the course of the next few years, I began to remember the greatest mysteries revealed to me. Anything is possible. I discovered a secret beyond any secret. The sum of all secrets.
My eyes have seen the sun.
You have seen nothing.
It's out there, and I will find it.
You will find nothing. It's like Solomon's gold. It was the key to Solomon's wisdom. The secrets of the Knights Templar and of the Freemasons.
He must be stopped.
Courage, my dear boy. Be strong, be brave. I challenged myself to find out everything I could. I found great teachers who knew this and began to seek them out.
اسأل أؤمن وأسلم. Ask, believe, and receive.
I traveled the world, and the meta secret was revealed.
Time has come.
I became a messenger to deliver all that was made known to me.
Hello there, I'm Bob Proctor. Meta is a nice word. It's a word most people don't understand. We talk about metaphysical, we'll say, oh, that's bad stuff. No, it's just what you can't see with these eyes. You got to see with an inner eye of understanding. Meta is beyond the physical. Do you know that 99% of our population has been programmed to let the outside world control the inside? If you want to get what you want, you let the inside world control the outside. That's what the meta secret's all about.
The meta secret to wealth and abundance is doing what you love, following your passion, enjoying your life, being grateful for this moment, realizing that in fact you already have wealth and abundance. You have wealth and abundance to the level that you allow it in your life. Expand your level of openness, deservingness, and you can have more wealth and abundance right now.
How do you become more wealthy? You become more grateful. Studies here in the U.S. show that grateful people earn more money and are better at innovation. So the first step to becoming more wealthy is become more grateful. Find the good in your world right now, and you'll take a first step to become more wealthy.
The meta secret to wealth is knowing exactly what you want and then being willing to pay the price to get it. Most people think that wealth just comes out of having this impression in your mind that you're going to live an abundant life. And that's an important piece of it, but it's incomplete. If you look at the word attraction in the law of attraction, the last 6 letters spell action, A-C-T-I-O-N. One of my favorite words is satisfaction. We all want to have satisfaction. And again, in Latin, satis means enough. Enough action, satisfaction, enough action produces the result. You know, I've been very, very successful with the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, and everyone thinks, oh man, you were lucky, you had this great idea. And we use the law of attraction. We visualize and we put up posters around our office that simulated bestseller lists with our name at #1. We visualize bookstore windows full of Chicken Soup for the Soul books, all of which came true. But there's a asking and a believing and a receiving, the 3 steps that I think of in the law of attraction. And the second part of believing is taking action. Because if you believe that your action is going to pay off, you'll take the action. So believing doesn't just mean like sitting there going, I believe I can be wealthy. It means doing the things that produce wealth.
The key to abundance is to act in spite of fear, act in spite of doubt, act in spite of worry, act in spite of inconvenience, act in spite of uncertainty, act in spite of anything.
If we're talking about metaphysical, we're talking about beyond the physical. So what we've got to do is go inside. We have been programmed to live from the outside in. We're letting what's going on outside of us control what's going on inside. If we're going to get into the meta side of our own personality, we've got to get away from this physical instrument we've got and move into the higher side of our own personality. And start to understand that we live simultaneously on 3 planes of understanding. And we work from a higher to a lower potential. If you're working with electricity, any electrician, any engineer will tell you that you have to work from a higher to a lower potential. If you go contrary to that, you're not going to get any use out of the electricity. Well, when you're working with the mind, you don't start with the physical and work up. You start with thought and work down. Thoughts are of a spiritual nature. Spirit's omnipresent. Where's thought? Thought's omnipresent. 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. I can be underwater and think. I can be in an airplane and think. I've had the pleasure of working with a couple of the astronauts that have been on the other side of the moon, and they could think. Not only could they think on the other side of the moon, they could transfer their thoughts to somebody here on Earth. It's just a form of telepathic communication.
You know, it's been said that if you build it, they will come. I think if you build it, and you build something with true excellence, and you distinguish it in the marketplace, and you come up with a selling proposition, and you are aggressive in your marketing to the world, it's possible that people will come, but it's not inevitable that they will come. And sitting around passively visualizing things is not likely to get the world beating a path to your door.
My meta secret about wealth ultimately is you've got to create a lot of value for a lot of people, and if you do that, you will bring a lot of wealth back to you. So by giving service and giving that which helps other people improve their lives, brings joy to them, brings service and products to them, if you do that and you keep expanding that, always be thinking about expanding your service to others. And if you do that, wealth is a foregone conclusion.
First thing, quit listening to what everyone else is telling you what to do. And start paying attention to what you want to do. You see, I can look back with my memory, and I can remember going and saying, Mom, Dad, or to the teacher, I want to do so-and-so. And they'd say, now, how are you going to do that? See, what they didn't understand is I didn't know how to do it. But neither does anyone know how to do the things they want to do when they first think of it. You don't have to know how. You know, 2 young bicycle mechanics from Dayton, Ohio, in the United States of America, introduced us to a new kingdom. They were the first ones to fly in airplanes. The whole world believed that you couldn't do that. Anything heavier than air is attracted towards the center of the world. You can't fly. But they wanted to, and so they did.
Well, clarity to me is a very different concept than I think a lot of people. The first thing I want to know is, what do you think you're trying to accomplish? The next thing I want to know is, why are you trying to accomplish it? The next thing I want to know is, if you accomplish it, what do you really think is going to happen in your life? A lot of people come to me and they say, I want to grow my business, because I work a lot in the business world, the entrepreneurial world. I teach a concept, achievement concept, a concept that is predicated on taking action and implementing, called optimization. Optimization is getting the highest and the best use and result and outcome of your time, your efforts, your emotion, your life, your relationships. But you can't begin, and this is where a lot of people, I think, really fall down. You can't begin to optimize until you take the time to observe, examine, and identify not all, but the scope of options and alternatives and other possibilities available to you, number one, to achieve the goal, and number two, as an alternative goal.
Clarity is power. Just by being clear, you will automatically begin to magnetize things to you, to your life.
The law of mentalism is about the mind. Everything that we have ever created, everything that has ever existed first in the mind. All thoughts are the beginning of all things real. All things that you can touch and feel began in the mind.
So if you want to be wealthy, you've got to decide what wealth is to you. Define it. What does it mean? How much money do you have to have? For me, financial independence meant having $30 million producing income, which allows me the lifestyle I want without having to work. And so I've achieved that. But I knew exactly what I wanted because I looked at what it would cost me to live my lifestyle. Most people don't know their net worth. They don't know their income levels of what would be required to produce what they want. They say they want to own a yacht, but they don't know what a yacht costs. They don't know what it costs for the slippage fee. They don't know what it costs to maintain a yacht. So go out and create your ideal lifestyle and then figure out exactly what it would cost to live it, and then set that number as the number you want to achieve. Then believe you can achieve it. Visualize it every single day. Take action when the action comes. Ask for what you want. Reject rejection. Give up any idea of failure. Just persevere until you continue on, until you produce the result you want.
The law of attraction's a good starting point for thinking about how to improve your life. You want to align your thoughts and your beliefs with what you want your life to be. But the law of attraction itself, by itself, won't allow you to achieve the abundance that you need. There are certain steps that you need to take. And these steps are all incorporated in what we call the meta secret. And the meta secret isn't one solitary method or one solitary system. The meta secret is a combination of tools, methodologies, and ways to understand the world and ways to understand how we can change the world.
Until I started looking at who I was and who I wanted to become, nothing changed. Because every time I would look and I would blame something else or blame somebody else or just look in a different direction that was not inside, I would get more of what I was creating. Because every time I created something, people would react to that. Every time I took an action that was blaming this or blaming that, people would react to that. And you know what? Then I would react to their reactions. And I was creating an environment that was busy. Instead, an environment that supported wealth and abundance.
If you look around, there's nothing but the abundance everywhere that you see. You see the trees growing. You see businesses happening. This is wealth. This is prosperity. This is abundance. If it's not happening for you, it's because unconsciously you have beliefs, counterintentions, negativity that actually blocks it from coming into your life. It's actually working the law of attraction all the time, but it's happening on an unconscious level. The abundance is there. The wealth is there. But if you don't feel it, if you're not expressing it, it's because inside of you, you may feel you don't deserve it. This is part of the unconscious work that has to be done in order for you to feel on a conscious, real, live, earth level what's happening with abundance and prosperity. Abundance, wealth is your natural birthright. If you're not feeling it, it's because of your unconscious beliefs.
The law of correspondence, simply stated, is as above, so below, as within, so without. The law of correspondence is simply attesting to the fact that we are human creatures physically present, but we have minds and we have spirits. So we exist in more than just one plane. We might even be multidimensional beings with multidimensional thoughts, and there may be more to you than just meets the eye.
If you want to be wealthy on the outside, you first have to become wealthy on the inside. As above, so below. As within, so without. First, you have to become wealthy in your thoughts. Then you become wealthy in your outer expression of that. You have to have a wealthy attitude. You have to have a wealthy, abundant thought form about who you are and what's possible. And when you have that, it will start to manifest outside of you.
If a person wants to take a quantum leap rather than incremental steps, they have to begin by understanding that they can do that. There's a marvelous little book. It's called U Square. Now think of what that means. If you square a number, you multiply the number by the number, don't you? Well, when you square, you multiply your potential by your potential. It's astronomical. I mean, you just go off the board. The man that wrote the book, Price Pritchett, he said, when you're looking at a quantum leap, he says it looks ridiculous, utterly. But in retrospect, it looks like a natural thing to happen. It was without effort. It's with ease. And that's what quantum leaps are. What you're really doing is getting rid of limitations in your mind, and you're letting your mind just take off and build a great big idea. And you start before you're ready. You defy what the masses are controlled by. You've got to move into a space all of your own. Understand you're working with an infinite power that's omnipresent. It's with you all the time. It's closer than your breath. And you get in harmony with that and just release all thoughts of limitation. And make up your mind you're going to take and just compound your effectiveness. That's essentially what I did. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't understand quantum leap, but I took my income from $4,000 a year to $175,000 in a year. And then it went over $1 million. And I had no understanding of what happened. Now understand this. I had been raised to believe that if you don't have a good formal education, that you'd never be able to do what I did. If you don't have experience, you can never do what I did. I had 2 months high school and I had a bad work record. But my income went from $4,000 to over $1 million a year. Now you can do that. And the first step is understanding that you can do it. Quit listening to people tell you you can't. And start to see yourself doing something really big. Write it out on a sheet of paper. Begin by saying, I am so happy and grateful now that I have turned my annual income to a monthly income.
It's not just about attracting things to you. It's about learning to trust what you're attracted to. You are naturally going to be attracted to certain kinds of people, to certain movies over other movies, to places you want to vacation versus other places, to workshops you want to take or books you want to read versus other books. Trust what you're attracted to. It will take you where you need to go, and it may not always make sense to you. I remember going to a seminar, and there was a woman teaching about how to triple your income in a year. And at that time, I was probably more like a hippie than I am the entrepreneur that I am today. And my wife, who was against making money at the time, thought it was evil when you should be in total service and all this. She said, I can't believe you're going to that workshop where they're going to teach you about how to make all this money. I thought you were more spiritual than that. I said, honey, I don't know why. I'm attracted to that workshop. I'm going to go there. So I sat down, the woman next to me, we started talking. It turns out she was a veterinarian. And it turns out that our cat had feline leukemia at the time. And I started talking to her about that, and she said, well, I'm the world's expert on feline leukemia. And I said, well, I've heard there's no cure for that. She said, no, there actually is a cure, and I can teach it to you. And so she called my veterinarian, told him what to do. My cat lived for many, many more years than the local vet thought it should. But see, I was trusting my attraction to go to that seminar, and it led me in a path that saved my cat's life, which was not where my conscious thinking was, but it was a very important goal to me to keep my cat alive. Those kind of things will start to happen.
Most people are uncertain about something. They're uncertain about their next step. Here's your message. Do it. Do it. Whatever you're uncertain about, do it. Take the step. You will learn so much more. You'll get so much further faster by actually getting in the game than doing it, than thinking about it forever. One of my sayings is, one step in the right direction is worth 100 years of thinking about it.
The law of correspondence, the law of mentalism, and the law of vibration all combine to help you understand that the notion of wealth is arbitrary. You're always wealthy in comparison to someone else. You choose a person to compare yourself with, or your wealth or your level of wealth with, and then you decide at that point to be happy with the situation or to be unhappy, and therefore change it. All of wealth is subjective. Understand this, and you understand